Thank you for joining us on this week's edition of the Comics Pals Reviews. This week we are here to talk about 4 of DC's biggest books. That's right, we've excluded Marvel. Marvel's done this week.
We're DC dudes now.
We are the DC dudes. DC
the Detective Comics.
Pals.
Pals.
Yeah.
We are talking Black Manta #1, Swamp Thing #7, Nice House on the Lake #4, and Infinite Frontier #6. That's the finale issue. Joining me this week are Pete.
Yo.
And Mr. Miracle himself, Tyler.
Guten Tag. I don't know why I chose German there.
It's actually nighttime, so I believe you should say Guten Nacht.
Sure.
I took 2 years of German. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I did a homestay in Germany for a weekend, and I stayed with a guy. His name was Simon, but I guess you pronounce it Seaman in Germany. So high school me thought that was hilarious.
That's not even the first time you've told that story on this show.
Really?
Yeah.
I talk about semen a lot on this show.
You sure
enough.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of semen, Black Manta.
Wow, what a segue.
Right. Great job.
What
on
a
that
fucking
one.
professional.
But, unfortunately, I do have to interrupt your amazing segue to plug us.
Damn it, that was good.
So nice one though. Nice
so
one. I like it. Your chops and instincts are still there.
I know.
So before we get into the reviews, do want to let you guys know how you can support the show. Make sure that you guys are following us and leaving us a like wherever it is that you listen. And then, of course, on YouTube, subscribe for free, like the video, share it with your friends. All that stuff is free, and it helps us out a lot. Listen to our main show, The Comics Pals, which drops every single Monday, where we are talking about the characters that you love and all the places you can find them. We're doing conversations about the news and all that good stuff. This week, we talked about DC Fandom's big return. So if you want to hear us talk about what that's going to look like, the Batman trailer that's supposedly going to drop and all that good stuff, go swing on over there and give us a listen.
Excited for that fandom, actually.
Me too.
DC giving me the dome last year was pretty good. It's good.
I'll tell you
Quality.
what, it's apparently the only time that they'll ever roll out Gotham Knights, so I'm super excited about that. We can finally hear about that game for a second time.
I want to hear about Suicide Squad for a second time.
But the first fucking time, let's be real. They showed us a logo last time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Give me a trailer.
Yeah.
Well, what we don't have to wait for is Black Manta #1 of 6. This is another limited series, notably not a season 1, just a limited series, which DC is obsessed with right now. This is actually my first time seeing most of these creators. So we've got Chuck Brown, who's the writer here, with Valentin Delandro, who did the art, and then Marissa Luis on colors, and Clayton Cowles on letters. Clayton Cowles, I swear, this dude is chained up in a warehouse. All he does,
he's working his ass off.
Yeah, like, dude, does he do anything but letter books?
Yeah, watch out for that carpal tunnel, buddy. That stuff hurts.
Seriously,
I feel like Clayton Cowles is like trying to amass a nest egg right now and be like, I'm gonna retire 2-3 years. I'm gonna work every single moment until then, and then I'm out.
I wouldn't be surprised. So I don't know if this is Black Manta's first at bat with a solo series.
I gotta assume so.
Yeah, that's my assumption.
If Tyler doesn't know, then I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go on Comic Vine later and check to see if there's another volume somewhere. But
normally, this is the time in the review where Tyler's like, yes, in 1973, he actually had a great little miniseries. It's fantastic.
If there was like a miniseries back when Super Friends was around, that's peak Black Manta for me right there.
You could see that. So this issue, I gotta say up front, it was a weird one. I didn't know what to expect. I love Black Manta. I think Black Manta is super cool, and I always have. But I don't know what the point of this really was.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, he's a pirate. He's stealing from some pirates. He's some
literal pirates too. So right now, instant knock on Sean's end.
Oh,
there's pirates in it.
If I didn't have to read this for the review, the moment that I saw pirate ships on this page for YouTube, I would have instantly stopped reading.
Really though,
No
he
question.
choke slams like a bunch of pirates and kills them and stuff. That's got to be good for you.
Don't want to see the ship.
Damn.
So,
Okay.
He
Okay.
refers to himself as a pirate at some point.
He does.
Not cool.
He's a new age pirate.
Yeah, no.
So like, it doesn't matter if pirates are getting killed in your book. As long as you see a pirate, you're out.
Yeah,
Damn.
I'm a simple man. I see pirate, I leave.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, don't like it.
I think Captain Demo, is he a Morrison creation?
I that's what I thought too.
Yeah, I think it's like his early Batman run, like when he came out with like all those like weird Rogues Gallery characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was at least very familiar, and I don't
Yeah.
know if it's because of that, but he was definitely very familiar.
I think it's when they did like Flamingo and Pig. I feel like that's when they would have made Captain Demo, which is just Nemo.
It is. But apparently he originated in Adventure Comics 441 back in 1975,
Okay.
according to
Yep.
DC.fandom.
Or the other Grant Morrison thing that they do where they just bring back obscure characters.
This absolutely forgotten character.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. The external link from it is actually forgotten Aquaman villains at AquamanBiographies.com.
All right. See, I appreciate something like that because Aquaman, like I don't know his villains. I know Ocean Master. I know King Shark, sort of, and then Black Manta. So like, yeah, all right.
So fucking...
Knowing that makes me a little more appreciative of this issue.
Trench. Come on.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
This fucking D-lister.
So this issue confused me because then Black Manta now has some type of army that he's amassing. He references the Manta Men. I've never heard of that. I didn't know he had a squad with them.
I love that. Though.
I
like the idea of that.
I'll tell you what, though. Yeah, I love the name, the Manta Men. That is a fantastic name for a goon squad.
Whatever the workshopping was between Black Manta and his I guess marketing crew, that's a good choice. That's a very good choice.
To me, my Manta Men
Works in every facet.
But then he's also got magic now that he has the ability to use.
I think that was a different character, and that's where I was a little confused.
That was a different character, I think.
Yeah.
It was?
I thought so.
And I think that's an issue because it took me a while. It took me halfway through the issue to even realize that. I don't think it's very clear there that is a separate story that's going on, concurrent to Black Manta's actual story.
I definitely think you're right, but I was also confused by that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I think that's a different dude.
Okay. Well,
he doesn't have the
scar.
The big scar on his face, and like I think he's got like different color hair. I don't know if
they should have named him or given him some kind of code name,
or a weird mask or something. Like something. You know,
or kept him in shadows completely. Like I just feel like that it showed this dude, and I'm like, oh.
But then they also revealed this lady at the end, and that also really confused me. I was super surprised by that.
I found this issue confusing, to be honest. I found it confusing.
Stem to stern, I found this confusing.
Very good looking. Like I liked the art a lot, especially like that one scene where like he kind of like. I don't know why I want to say like wave dashes into the pirate and just stabs him. I've been watching that Nickelodeon Smash clone footage too much today. But like there's like this awesome like hero or I guess anti-hero pose where he just stabs a pirate. Like the art is very good, but I was super confused with the story when I really think it boils down to Black Manta wants a rock.
Right.
I think that's the story.
Yeah, I guess, but it's also killing him. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like the first thing I said to myself after I finished this was that was really hard to follow. And like I wasn't bored by it necessarily. I didn't think it was like like I was trying to get down with it, but like I don't know, like trying to give you the bullet points. I don't know.
Well, let's get down to the brass tacks. If you've never read if you've never seen Black Manta before, right? What do you know about him now that you didn't know about him before you picked up this issue? That he's a pirate.
Manta Men.
He's got
a
Manta
crew.
Men.
He has a crew that we haven't seen.
He is a supervillain, a murderer, a rogue of Aquaman, and he does not care about minimalizing casualties or freeing people who have been like shanghaied by pirates. So
what does he care about? Who does he love? What does he
cares about
fear?
The Rock.
You know, it doesn't answer any of the critical questions that I feel like an issue like this has to answer. This isn't Aquaman. We know it's reasonable if you pick up an issue 1 of Aquaman that, okay, you probably came into this with some type of knowledge. And even then, most of the time, they'll go through some of the
Aquaman still needs a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, fine. But like even if it's Batman, they'll give you something to say, okay, cool. You know, real quick. With this, I feel like I read this whole issue and I don't know him anymore. Everything that I know about Black Manta was in the first like 2 pages, and then that's it. And I'm not like I'm a layman fan. Like I know him, but I don't know him. You know,
there are 2 things about Black Manta that people know and enjoy: his look, and the fact that like Aquaman killed his dad and he's out for revenge. And we only get one of those in this.
Right.
So I don't think there was really a hook, fish joke, that really kept me into this book. Besides the art, I thought, look, here's the thing: Black Manta design, it has a lot of leeway with me. Like I'll probably read an issue 2 of this. I don't recommend pulling it. I would maybe recommend pulling it just for the cover, and if you're a weird collector and you like number 1s, pull it.
It was my cover of the week. I'll give it that. It's a dope cover.
Fantastic cover. Yeah,
which cover
real
did
good
you
cover.
get? Or which cover did you?
The main cover is
that
great.
Main one. Cool. I just think that shit rocks. Like that looks so dope.
Also, I'm like a big fan of like these like weird purples and pinks that are becoming like kind of mainstream in comics lately.
Yup. I'm 500% here for it.
yeah. It's just my thing. Like I was a scene / emo kid in high school. Like these colors are like my bread and butter.
It's vaporwave, baby. Like I'm here
exactly,
for it.
Yeah. Vaporwave Black Manta, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I feel like I could heap tons of praise at the art. Like I really love the look of this book. It was just tough for me to understand what I was supposed to care about, and like the fact that they're kind of like, I don't know, I feel like this book is trying to establish a like some kind of a anti-hero status or like something, because it's like very much about like, oh, my legacy, what's going to be my legacy, and then like there's seemingly this other guy who's getting his own squad together and is going to be like the antagonist that he deals with, you know? It's like,
you compare this number 1 to like Moon Knight number 1 that we read a couple of months ago,
right?
Completely,
that got me in. I was like, I fucking dig this. Like I want to read this.
They're not that different in terms of the core. Like Black Manta can easily be played as an anti-hero. Like there are compelling features of him. Especially in a story. Like, yeah, fuck Aquaman for killing his dad. Like, I say fuck Aquaman for a lot of things, but it's just like there is a compelling feature there. But like, I didn't get any introduction to the character in this.
Yeah, this was frustrating. I would say don't pull this. Honestly,
yeah.
I would say skip it.
That's where I'm at.
I just can't see making the investment into this book over the course of 6 issues. When it doesn't even start on the right foot.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but
I would say instead go and either watch the Aquaman movie, which has some really cool Black Manta scenes in it, or watch Super Friends.
I would even say
great Black Manta.
I would say that there were some cool Black Manta moments even during Jeff Johns' run with
the Forever Evil one shot. Yeah, dude, remember those lenticular 3D covers?
I love that.
I was a shill for that, man.
That was where I found Black Manta in the comics. I like Super Friends and stuff, but I found him in the comics through that, and that was great. This doesn't touch that.
Yep, I think, agreed.
I feel like if you're really hungry for Black Manta, like, I do, like we said, the art here is really good, like, but you could easily, like, wait for a trade and see if it gets any momentum later on, and, like, I feel like investing in this month to month when there are a lot of other quality books on the shelf is a tough sell for me.
Yeah.
Fair. Yep.
Well, let's get on to something that's not a tough sell for pretty much anyone. Let's talk about Swamp Thing.
Hell yeah.
You don't think Swamp Thing's a tough sell?
Not this. Sorry, this book. I don't think.
No, fair.
This,
yeah, no, I think this book is really good, but I think it's hard to tell someone like, hey, you should really check out this Moss Man comic.
Oh, well, yeah, in theory, sure, but I think the point is that this series has had the hot hand.
It's tasty. It's tasty.
It's good shit.
It is the good shit, and we've heaped tons and tons of. So this is of course Ram V writing it with Mike Perkins on art, Mike Spicer doing the colors, Aditya Bidikar on letters. I upfront enjoyed this issue way more than I did the last one.
Yep.
This whole Suicide Squad thing, I was like, I don't know if I care, and I didn't last time. This one brought me back.
Hell yeah, cool. All right. I mean,
Same.
I loved the last issue, but I thought this one was better. So, yeah, fucking.
I think I'm on with Sean on this one. I was kind of checking out last issue. I was like, all right, I appreciate the corporate synergy to put Suicide Squad and Peacemaker in this. But why? I think we were telling a pretty decent enough story before. But this femme fatale character whose name I don't remember ever, her having a power to like tap into memories is a great plot point to bring up. Just is it Levi?
Yeah.
Levi is his name. Yeah, his whole backstory and his really compelling history with his brother and father, which I think that was my favorite part of this whole book, just that story. Like it wasn't even the Swamp Thing stuff. Yes, the giant kaiju Swamp Thing at the end, great, but like the familial trauma and backstory, and this is what really kind of got my roots into it. Damn it, sorry, I can't help myself.
Well, I felt like, and her name is Asa, by the way.
Sure. Yep.
I felt like this issue was a microcosm of what this story overall has been about. You know? I love the fact that they were able to take the Suicide, and by they I mean Ram V and Mike Perkins. They were able to take the Suicide Squad and their introduction and actually make them a part of the story in a meaningful way. So, Levi feels that disconnect from the Green right now. I'm sure part of that is due to what's the chemo? His name is Chemo.
Chemo,
right?
yeah.
I think it's Chemo, yeah.
Part of that is him due to him just walking around the swamp and killing the forest, and killing all the trees.
Chemo is an underrated DC villain.
Dude, yeah.
He's so good in whatever he's in, and all he does is walk.
I've never seen him before, and I'm loving this. Like, he's a perfect Swamp Thing antagonist. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But that like the idea that the government has sent the Suicide Squad to this forest and they're destroying it just by being there. Like, Chemo's not intentionally destroying the forest. That's just what happens because he's there. Juxtaposing that idea with the idea that at some point in his life, Levi was this. He was that person. He brought the government intervention into the forest, into something sacred and, small and earthly, and destroyed it. That's a perfect story. Like, Ram V nailed this.
It's just like it's an exceptional script.
Yeah.
And I think this speaks to when we had Ram on the show a few months ago. One of the things that is so unique about this new run is that, like, Levy is still a person, right? And like that's always kind of been, the opposite with Swamp Thing, right? Like it's so like the echo of a person that like it's a monster that wants to be a man, right? Rather than having Swamp Thing almost be like this kind of metaphor for the demons he has within that he's working through, and that like he's kind of trying to repent for like these things that he is ashamed of and carrying with him through his actions as Swamp Thing, and like the familial roots and everything of it, like it adds this depth and layer to the story that makes it unique from like every other Swamp Thing story, but it still feels decidedly like a Swamp Thing story.
Yeah.
And that's so fucking impressive that like Ram is able to like add to the legacy of Swamp Thing in a meaningful way, but in a way that's like so very different and new and fresh and refreshing, you know? It's awesome.
And like the more I read this, the more I realize how good of an idea it was to not do Alec Holland. Like as much as I like Alec Holland and as much as, you know, it's like OG Swamp Thing, like I don't think I would have thought of replacing him. I think of Swamp Thing, I think of Alec Holland. You know, to do that, and like he's like writing this kind of experience he understands and can relate to, makes the book super compelling.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with this, and I think that giving Levi the whole issue really centers around Asa being able to penetrate Levi's mind and see all his pain and all his doubts and everything that hurts him, and say, hey, look, I can take this away from you. I can make it so that you won't feel these things anymore. But if I do that, you will not be connected to the green. You will be divorced from Swamp Thing, because Swamp Thing is feeding not in the negative, but it's able to thrive through you by connecting to these memories that you have. And him choosing not to do that is essentially a rejection of the man that he was. And it validates the entire book, because it says this is a man who's grown. This is a man who has evolved past who he was. And so he's not saying, I need this because I need to be Swamp Thing, because I need to be powerful, right? He's saying, I need this because I want to be the better man that I am. And that's a rare choice in superhero comics, I feel. And it's uniquely Swamp Thing. And that's so important that Ram is identifying what challenges can you put Swamp Thing in? What situations can you put him in that aren't the same as what you can put Superman in, or Batman, or whoever?
And also being able to navigate, like, I think it's fair to say that having the Suicide Squad in this is a corporate move.
Yeah.
But like the characters he chooses, like this Asa person, power set that perfectly matches what the story needs. Heatwave, perfect. You know, fire is the antithesis to Swamp Thing, and so is Chemo. Like this whole poison. Peacemaker's in there. He doesn't really do much.
He's got like fucking 3 lines. Yeah, like who cares? I don't feel like he's in the way of the story, right? Like
exactly. Yeah, and I think that's what the issue could have been. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't feel.
I almost enjoy it, because it's like, oh, you really worked around that corporate mandate there. I appreciate that. That's good stuff.
Yeah, like I feel like he found a way to tether it in and make it enhance the book, right? And like let it be a framing device for what he was gonna do no matter what.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Brilliant.
And I think it'd be a disservice not to mention Mike Perkins on art. Super moody. There's this like kind of gross ambiance it gives this whole story. The facial work and the way like Asa is like probing, Swamp Thing. It's real good. It's real fun stuff. Like I used to think of Mike Perkins as like the guy at Marvel who would draw Carnage all the time. He was like the Carnage guy in my head. But he's like really taking it to a new level here, and I really enjoy it.
Traded tendrils for vines.
Hey, fair trade.
I'll be honest. I always thought of Mike Perkins as like a fill-in guy, kind of, because I remember he came in.
He was like a Diodato fill-in.
Yeah. He came in. I believe he came in on a few issues of Captain America during Brubaker's run.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that. Yep.
Yeah. So I always had that impression of him, but this is the work of his career, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, real good stuff.
It really is beautiful, and I don't think it would. It's great. It's obviously tremendous. But when you think about these pages without Mike Spicer's colors, like I feel like the colors just add so much to this story.
Absolutely. Dude, I was about to say, I think we would be, speaking of being remiss, we would be remiss not to call out how excellent the work is here on the colors. Like we were talking about the use of like the pinks and stuff earlier. I feel like this issue is so defined by the purple contrast. Like there's so much green in the foreground, purple in the background, and it just makes things pop in an insane way.
that's the thing Spicer's been doing. He was the guy who was coloring Beta Ray Bill, Daniel Warren Johnson's.
Yeah.
And we even talked about it then, like how some of like the pop out panels would use like these weird colors,
Mhm.
but it really made you like focus in on certain things. And I think it's it's almost like working against traditional color theory, which I really enjoy. It's like, it's not primary colors at all.
Well, and I love the use of like how like there's the few pages that are the flashbacks or the kind of memory sequences, and there's this like watercolor like brush texture to some of the backgrounds, and it gives it like, it really helps those memories have like a dreamlike quality. Yep. And then like the cut-ins of like what's actually happening to him in the moment like have such a contrast because they have the in the now like colors to them, there's a lot of work I think being done on Spicer's part to make this like feel right, to have the right aesthetic.
So first of all, this is my book of the week. I thought this was tremendous.
Yeah,
just awesome.
Agreed.
And I would run out and get this. If you've read the rest of the series so far, definitely get it. If you haven't, I mean, it's really only 7 issues. Obviously, that's not a small amount of issues, but considering how good this is, I'd run out and get it. I'd run out and get caught up.
I just had a thought, like, this is gonna be a great hardcover when it's out. Yeah. Like, I want to put this on my shelf, and then also I'm like, is it kind of fucked up that I'm using a paper to read something? I feel like we should be reading this digitally, guys.
That's the circle of life.
But that brings me to a question that I have, which is that this series is ending with 10, and 3 of the issues will have been spent with the Suicide Squad in some capacity. More than that, if you consider the issue before where they were teased or whatever.
Yeah.
Does it bother you that Ram V's run? We don't know that there's going to be a season 2. That's not guaranteed, at least for our purposes.
I mean, Comics Pals bump might help, but
hey, you never know. It's worked before. Does it bother you that so much of this run has featured the Suicide Squad? Does it derail it?
No,
I don't think so. Yeah. I feel like I shared this opinion about the last issue, so I don't want to retread too much ground, but I feel like the way that Ram wrote them in, they feel more like a monster of the week type obstacle that are being used as a framing device to do the things that the story needs to do. I think like Tyler made the point about how all of the characters except for Peacemaker, right, who is obviously a marquee character they want to get over or whatever, the rest of them are not characters from the film and have seemingly been chosen because of the way that they actually enhance the story, in the same way that the initial villain, the sand guy, I can't remember his name, but how that guy was like a very much a counterpoint to Swamp Thing. These villains are too. So I feel like if you pick this book up collected 5-10 years from now without like thinking about it, you wouldn't even like know that this was a tie-in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although my comic reading, it's like I have 3 Suicide Squad issues this week, so like I'm feeling it, but only in the moment. So,
dude, I dropped Get Joker. I dropped it.
I can't drop an Azraella book. It's just
legally I can't.
I talked to him once. He's a really intimidating dude. He told me I can't not pick up any of his books. His beard kind of like winked at me. It was a weird thing. It was a weird thing.
Well, let's talk about a book that I can't drop, and that's The Nice House on the Lake. This is issue 4. I think,
and you can't drop it until it goes on hiatus because of Substack. But
word, that's.
I'm just waiting for that, which sucks.
It really does.
Yeah,
that's imminent. That's issue 6, right? That we're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
So it's James Tynion, of course, the 4th, who wrote it. Alvaro Martinez Bueno did the art in this one. Jordi Belair on colors, and World Design did the letters. Man, this is another book. I was kind of like with I think issue 2, 3 was 2, but I felt like this one was awesome.
Yeah,
this issue brought me all the way back in. And it's not that a ton happens necessarily. We do get a little bit more detail about what is going on. But it's really the character work that did it for me with this one.
Yeah, I still can't remember names, but I'm at least understanding who people are. As people.
I'm getting better at it now. Yeah, the names are still eluding me a little bit, but like in their interactions, I'm remembering
exactly.
who more.
I'm remembering faces now. Like I think before I might have complained about how everyone kind of looks at least somewhat similar, or it's a little one note on the the race scale. But having been with it, this is the 4th issue, right?
Yeah.
I think there are certain standout characters that I'm kind of latching onto, which I enjoy. Could I name them? Probably not. Could I tell you what their little icon is? Probably not either. But I'm at least understanding the interactions between different characters, and like that's where I'm enjoying it.
Well, there was a lot to like, I think, in this issue, character-wise. We really get focused on David, who I couldn't have picked out of a lineup prior to this issue, but he's the focal point here. He's our POV character as the tenants of the home have discovered that if they put out a list of things that they need, it will appear on their front door the next day, which is really crazy, a crazy concept. And Tinian uses it to have fun with in certain ways. Obviously, he can't go too crazy, but weed gummies is one of the things that is
Fleshlight was on there.
Fleshlight.
I like how in parentheses like, don't judge me, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I like how he's at some point ordered the exact outfit that Ferris Bueller wore, and he's wearing it throughout a couple of pages of this issue.
One of my favorite ones was it's every single item of clothing that Leonardo DiCaprio took on his last vacation.
Yeah. Great. Like this guy's dipshittiness made me enjoy him as a character, because like it's a heavy book.
Yeah,
like this series is heavy, so like having this lighthearted character who winds up being very heavy towards the end there. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good kind of foil to how the story has been going lately.
Yeah, absolutely. And getting to see the rest of the characters sort of through his eyes also helped, because he's like happy coming every scene. He's got a different funny outfit on, and everyone has varying degrees of tolerance for what he's doing, and they're also in their own space as far as how they feel. And that comes to a head a little later on. I cannot remember this girl's name, the redhead who's
Molly,
sad.
I think it was.
I think you're right. Yeah,
I think it might have been Molly. Yeah.
Well, let's go with that for now.
Sure. I'm trying to find it. It is Molly. Okay.
Yeah. She's depressed because she lost people in this, and she wants them back. She wants her husband. She wants her mom. She wants her dad. And when she realizes after several days that she ain't getting those things, now she wants a way to die. But they're not materializing for her for whatever reason. And the implication, or it might have even been explicitly said, is that she can't get those things because of what she intends to do with them.
Right.
But I don't really know why that mattered, because of the end reveal, which is David puts it on himself. Like, hey, I know what you want with this stuff. I'm going to show you that it won't work anyway because they can't kill themselves.
I think it mattered because that wasn't something they were supposed to know.
Right. Okay.
That's what I got out of it. Like of course I can give David a straight answer. That guy is an asshole and he loves himself. He's not going to try and kill himself, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a way of like showing that Walter doesn't truly know all of them that well as they think they do, as he thinks they do. So.
I also felt like it was to show us about him as a character. Because, Sean, you made the point about how all the characters react to him and everything. I felt like this character was used as a conduit to learn a lot, or a little about the other characters, but we learned a lot about himself through how his actions are echoed from that one conversation between him and Walter at the bar, right? And then, like, he makes the comment about how this is like him in the future narrating, and he says, I like that he saw that I saw more than I let on. Like, he knew I was smarter than I acted, that I picked up on stuff. Anyways, that's why I knew he wasn't going to let us die. And I took it to be that he kind of plays a character a little bit with people. Because, like, all the different outfits and everything, right? Like, I think, obviously, a lot of this stuff is to entertain himself, but I also feel like he's trying to keep the other people engaged on some level and is trying to, like, check in on people while he's doing these things because he's the type of person who observes people and tries to read a room. And, you know, that was established between him and Walter early on, right? And I dug how... that was then used, you know, later on with that moment, I think, because he is a character who everyone's underestimating up until the moment that he does what he does.
Yeah. And I love that we got to know him in that way. He loves people. You know, he even says, like, we are all we have. We won't survive this if we don't, you know, start being honest with each other. What's the real world tagline? They have to start getting real, basically.
Stop being nice and start getting real.
Yeah, they have to start getting real. And
guys, for you young people, the Real World was a reality show.
Is
it still going on?
Well, I don't know.
I thought it was mostly like The Challenge now. You know, it's like these guys still want an MTV paycheck. So
the last Real World I saw was a few years ago. So maybe it's.
I feel like we're dating ourselves a bit.
Bunch of geriatric fucks over here.
And Road Rules was a thing as well.
Okay, Grandpa.
Back in my day, MTV did music. You know.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we used to complain about how they used to play music.
And now they don't. Yeah, I really enjoyed this issue. We've talked before. I've mentioned it, how this is the way to get us to find our connection with these characters, is to do these stories that are more focused on one individual. It's like the Lost strategy. It definitely works.
There's a lot of lost feeling in this. I think like also like showing the characters in the first like page or two, like way in the future, and like what the fuck happened? Like there's this mystery going on in the background that I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to see how we got there. Find out in 5 years, I guess.
Frankly, if this book weren't so good, I would be saying, well, let's get to something already. It's a testament to the script that I'm cool with all the waiting. Literally nothing has happened of real merit to drive the story forward in any of these issues, but the first one that established what this is.
Gotta say, I'm kind of jealous of these guys, because notice how like he just asked for Action Comics #1, like, and he got it. I would like that.
I like that he writes in parentheses, he's like authentic or something like that. I forget what it is, but he's like, I want like a real one. Like,
well, there's no one to sell it to, so I mean, but if
just
it matters,
knowing, Sean, it's just knowing you have it.
I want to know that I have an original.
Yeah.
I also
I got first issue Young Avengers around in my box somewhere. Like, I just know I have that.
Tyler, I think historically you've liked the art a lot. You want to speak to that?
It's good. No, like it's I think I might have complained how everyone kind of looks the same. I think as these people are kind of living throughout this shitty experience, they're kind of gaining more defining characteristics, either in how they dress. I mean, it is realistic, so it's not like Scooby-Doo where they wear the same thing every time. So they are changing constantly. So I think before I was having trouble keeping up with that, but I think I'm starting to kind of learn. I feel like both the art and the script is really drip feeding me information, either visual or in the plot, that I'm maybe was frustrated with, and maybe in issue 2 or 3, but I'm slowly realizing like, oh, okay, this is actually working. And I am understanding it. And I think that's a testament to the art, really. So
yeah, I feel like I'm being rewarded for digging in on it, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
I was just gonna say, I wonder how many things I've missed by not like thoroughly examining every single panel.
Yeah. It makes me want to reread it for sure. Like the further we get, the more I'm like, I feel like I will get more out of issue 1 now than I did back then, even though I really liked it.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're going to have a lot of time to do that if you want to.
Yeah, right?
But we come to the finale of Infinite Frontier. This is issue 6 of 6. And
half naked Dark Side on that Mitch Gerrard's cover there.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is almost
Dude is just in a Speedo Dark Side. That's what I'm about.
That's what you're about.
Yeah, that's Speedo Force is what he's got going on there.
The anti-Speedo equation.
So we've got Joshua Williamson, of course, who wrote it with Zermanico on art and Romulo Fajardo Jr. on colors. Tom Napolitano did the letters. So first of all, from an art standpoint, that's where I want to start.
Finally.
Yes, this issue brought it because we came here for Zermanico, art-wise. And so
great name. Like
I know.
Like that's like a good like comic book artist name.
I feel like he should draw every single issue of Justice League Dark.
He's like the Cher of comic books. I'm into it.
One name, Zermanico.
Yeah. So yeah, it looked really great. That's been a complaint that I've had for many issues at this point, and it was not a problem here. The art's awesome. The story is also, I thought, really good. I was into this. We get a big fight for the whole thing, pretty much. Darkseid comes. He has arrived, and he means business. But so does President Superman.
I love President Superman, man. I'm like, I want more of this guy, which we're getting. So yeah, all for it. But like, I think he's like a really compelling character.
He's cool.
Yeah,
he's cool as shit.
I got
Barack Obama in Superman costume.
Yeah,
like
I it's so funny. Like the entire time this was happening, I'm just like imagining. I'm like, God, his poor assistant is still having a cover for him. He's been gone for like. Can you imagine if just like they're like for like a week, we're like, we don't know where Joe Biden is. He's lost.
Well, I mean, if this guy's based off Barack Obama, there's like Earth 3 Joe Biden just trying to like handle this.
Yeah, he is a vice president.
That's rough. Yeah.
He just destroys this whole like cage that they built around the universe or whatever very easily. Or I'm sorry, Flash does that.
Yeah. This felt like the chips and soda of comic books. Like it's unhealthy, dumb, stupid fun. Like if this is on a table, of course I'm picking this up and reading it until, you know, like I can't read it anymore. Like this is great. I love it. There's specifically like the fact that, you know, I did enjoy the redemption of Thomas Wayne, or at least the beginnings of a redemption, especially after Tom King's run. Yeah. I have been on record saying that I on the whole enjoyed Tom King's Batman run, but I did not care much for the Thomas Wayne stuff. So kind of like seeing him be redeemed as somewhat of a hero and mentioning, you know, like Bruce's family, his kids, and like actually naming like Cassie and Barbara and Damian. It's great. And I like how there's now a brewery out there that's brewing with hops from multiple universes. I want that, man. I mean, yeah, this Drowned Lands, you know, Pilsner is great, but I want multiverse beer. That sounds even more fantastic.
So the panel that I really liked was when Darkseid just Omega beamed Machine Man to death, or whatever
crazy.
Wherever he's destined for. That was awesome.
I love a good Omega beam, Omega sanction. It's so good.
Yeah.
Although we really didn't I still feel like we were supposed to know who Machine Head was. And like we don't really, I guess. I feel like they were building to a reveal. Maybe I just misread it, but I felt like they were building to something that never happened in that sense.
Yeah, he's just no one. He's just a guy.
He's
definitely no one now. Yeah.
And then, come on, we can't even talk about this without talking about what happens to God. Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Barry?
No.
Director Bones?
No. Fuck him.
Yo, I
What?
love how Director Bones just got fucking clowned out, though.
He did get clowned out.
I was
Yeah.
gonna like go find a screenshot of that.
I was kind of bummed about that. They did Bones dirty here. That's why I recommend everyone to read Checkmate by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev, where Director Bones doesn't get clowned out like some bony motherfucker in this
fuck
book.
That.
But
Fuck Director Bones.
Psycho
they're gonna say,
Psycho
fuck.
Pirate.
Oh, dude, that panel was the funniest panel of the week for me.
I'm needed in another event.
Amazing.
I thought you were gonna be mad because he did nothing this entire series, but I did think that was funny.
If his usage in this book was only leading up to that one line in that one panel, worth it. Fantastic. Great.
I don't even really need Psycho Pirate to do anything. I just
He
need
just
him
needs
to
to be there. Exactly.
Yeah.
He has this aura about him that, like, you see him, something's important going on.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, cool.
Can I tell you really what his power set is, or who his name is, or like what the importance of? No, but I did like the tease that, you know, like Darkseid's trying to get this power that all these other big DC villains, like it's they have Eclipso. I think that's the Batman who laughs in the top panel, in his like death metal form, if I remember correctly. I don't know.
It looks like, yeah, it could be.
Upside Down Man from Just Dark is in this, and then Necron, who we haven't seen since what, Blackest Night? Like, yeah. I popped for that. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to know what this is. This seems really important. Give me more of this. Yeah, I was pretty excited for it.
I love scenes like that.
Yep.
It feels like the formation of something dark and terrible. Mm-hmm. Especially seeing Darkseid's family together. That's a big deal. I don't know what the Great Darkness is, but I'm here for it.
Can you guys tell me who's this fucking Green Goblin looking motherfucker?
Is that Eclipso? Am I right about that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna ask who the guy at the end was. Pariah. Like that's big too. He hasn't been around since what? Crisis on Infinite Earths, the original Crisis.
Yeah, I haven't seen Pariah.
Yeah.
Like,
I had no idea who he was, but I figured he was related to the original Crisis because they were like all the way back to the original Crisis, and I was like,
and
okay.
This is kind of like a weird heel turn for him. You know, he's like, hey, you done fucked up my whole multiverse at this point. Now you're stuck here, and let's bring you back to I don't know, old timey comic books with this whole family there.
I popped so hard for that because I mean, look, if you read DC Comics and you're into like, you know, not the mainstream, but like DC, then you love the crises, right? You love the crises.
Love a good crisis.
Yeah. And this tethers back to the original Crisis, and it's like, this is madness. They just took the Flash and put him in like original DC.
Even though is that new 52 Wally West there?
Is it?
I think so. Which I'm fine with, but you know, like it's literally every Flash family member is there, including his mom, so he'll be happy.
Yeah. So the Flash is just gone. He's just off the board. Like, that's it.
You know, that means Wally gets to be our Flash.
No, he's here.
Oh, wait. Is this Wally? This is Barry. This is Barry.
I feel
right?
like it's Barry. It's Barry.
Yeah.
This is Barry. But Wally is here. Okay, you mean like in that
panel,
okay, yeah.
But this is
double Wally.
But yeah, this is Earth. This is like in the second multiverse. So this Wally being there is not.
No, I know. I was just trolling.
Okay.
I need a Pepe Sylvia board behind me to kind of like match everything.
They need to get Tom Muller to do the design work so we can understand all the different
where
stuff
in the
that's
multiverse.
And like the multiverse is like one of those things where I can just shut my brain off and be like, yeah, this sure.
When they got to the. When they got to the fucking page where he's like, this is Multiverse 2. And I was just like, oh, fucking K. All right. This is some real comic book hours. We're going crazy out here.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Why the fuck not? It's not a critique. It's just hilarious. Like,
so we got Multiverse. We got Multiverse 2. We got the Dark Multiverse. And I assume the inverse would be Dark Multiverse 2. Like, finally going to put out that Warren Ellis Batman book.
And then what is this? The Omniverse, right? Is the thing
sure,
that Darkseid's trying to take over now?
Yeah, I guess so.
Fucking A. Let's go.
Yeah,
whatever.
So, in terms of judging this book wholly, because we know that there's going to be an event that's coming in 2022. And as we said, week on week, this is leading up to that. This is a precursor to that. Yeah. Would you recommend that someone who's listening to this right now but hasn't read a single issue pick up the trade for this when it releases?
Put an asterisk on my I would say if you like crises. If you like the crises, pick this up. It'll scratch that itch. I think it'd be a fun little trade.
Yeah, I think I generally agree with that. I think if you're really into crisis events, or if you're like very interested in what is coming next, then yeah, go for it. But if you're kind of looking at this, as for what I kind of hoped it would be, which would feel like more of a proper sequel or continuing of what happened in Multiversity. I don't think it's quite that. Like, it has moments that will give you satisfaction, but I think the way that the story was broken up and the fact that it was more of an anthology series, it made the entire thing feel, for me, kind of like just a bunch of issue zeros that happened to actually have a story. And that's fine. Like, if you're in on what's coming next and you want to be up on it, I think you'll have fun, like with the asterisks that Tyler applied. But
I think if you go into this thinking it's like, oh, it's an event book, I can just check it out. The casual reader might not really enjoy this. I don't think the casual reader really cares for Jade and Obsidian. But I think if you're like kind of like a big DC fan, this would be fun. Yeah.
I don't think this is penetrable in any way for someone who is like a lay person to DC.
Yeah, no, fair.
And also, I think that if you're not connected to what's happened in the last few years of DC, there's going to be a lot of things that strike you strange. I don't think this is essential reading, despite how much fun I had with this last issue, especially because of the inconsistent art. I would have excused a lot of things if Sir Manigault drew every single page of this story.
Even Director Bones?
Even Dr. Bones, yeah.
It's director. Get his
Sean doesn't respect him enough to say his name right.
Gosh.
So I would say skip it unless you're that real hardcore DC fan who needs a crisis-ish book to tide you over until the next major event. That's the only reason to read this.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, you can follow Psycho Pirate to the next event where he's needed.
I love that so much. That's
such
so
a good.
I swear to God, battle. I really hope that in whatever that next event is, he like pops out and is like,
yeah, he's like, oh, I'm here. Yep.
that probably will.
That'll make the whole series worth it.
And let me tell you what the best thing is about this whole deal being over. It's that I will not ever again have to see those awful, terrible pages of Dr. Bones questioning the DC universe. Never again. And if you buy the trade, you'll be spared from that. So maybe that's a good reason to buy the trade and not the singles.
Or if you join the Comics Pals Discord, you can keep seeing it with the Director Bones emojis we have. If you have a question, you gotta add the Director Bones emoji if you have any kind of question.
I feel like what I want to do is create a meme format that's just Sean's head on Director Bones, and it's like Sean's questions of the week.
Or like if you guys ever like a random question and you want to like put that question out for the crowd, you just post it. Director Bones asking it on the Instagram.
I have to do that now.
I'll shop you a template. I'll give you a Photoshop template.
Please do it, Tyler.
I got you.
You're better than me at graphic design.
I don't like a single part of that, but
somebody's not a real bonehead like us.
Number one question.
I almost said boner. All us Director Bones fans are true boners, but Sean's not.
bunch of boneheads.
I got to get out of this somehow. But before we close, we do want to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what we think you should be picking up next week, the books that we're looking forward to, and a little bit of a tease as far as what we'll likely be reviewing next week here on the show. So I want to start, and I'm going to say Batman 89, number 2.
Oh, cool.
I'm really hyped for
Batman.
that.
Are you liking the Tinian Batman run?
Oh, Batman 89. Like,
Oh, it's not the number 89. Okay.
No.
All right, never mind. All right, it's cool.
I really, really love the first one. I think I was alone in that.
I liked it.
Yeah. It was. I thought it was really cool. I'm excited for where it's gonna go. So that would be the book that I would really say, like, you should go out and pick that up. And if I can just sneak another one in because I just want to, Batman the World is coming out next week.
Batman week for Sean there.
Yeah. This is the graphic novel that features a Batman story from all different kinds of creators all across the entire world.
We're doing that next week?
Yeah. Well,
hell yeah.
we probably aren't, but
Why? Let's do it.
Yeah. As somebody who did on the Long Box, my old podcast, where I did a review of every story in Marvel Comics 1000, don't do that.
Oh, okay. Maybe not. Then.
We did that, didn't we?
Every story?
We did. I think actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're crazy.
And then you guys know.
Yeah. It's not the best time.
It's a marathon. Yeah. So for me, I would say I'm interested in Rorschach number 12. It's the final issue of Tom King's Rorschach book. This book has not been anything that I expected it to be. If you think it's a continuation of Watchmen, you'd be 98% wrong. It's kind of this own standalone thing with using Rorschach as like an idea, and it's just really good. It's on art. Why am I? It's Jorge Fornes.
Yes.
Which career work, real good stuff. And in the past 3 issues, the story's really kind of taking some weird twists and stuff, and I'm really excited for it. And then I would also add Kang the Conqueror number 2. I really enjoyed that first issue. So
awesome.
For me, I'm gonna go with X-Men Trial of Magneto number 2. That's of course Leah Williams on the scripts and Lucas Wernick on art. I was not super jazzed on the first issue, but I really am excited by the premise of it, and I feel like we got a lot of the the kind of groundwork done. So I'm hopeful for issue number 2 that this is going to be the one that really starts to grab me.
Yeah. You guys picked all the other books that I would have picked. So in a weird way, I got 5 picks. That was awesome. Thank you guys for listening so much. If there are books that we didn't speak on that you want us to be reading, if there's something you think we should be reading that we're not, write in and let us know. Drop a line in the YouTube comments. Leave us a comment on social at the Comics Pals.
Yeah.
Anywhere you can get us. Just
when I wasn't on 2 weeks ago, you missed out on Darkhawk number 1. Come on, guys. Jeez. Darkhawk, who is a teenager from Woodlawn now, which is great.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's why you can't miss the show.
I know. I gotta. Yeah.
Gotta keep us on.
Oh, guys, I'm getting married in a couple weeks, so I might not be here for an episode. So
Just one.
If it wasn't for Tyler, we wouldn't have read Black Manta number 1.
You're welcome.
Today. So you know what, Tyler?
Or Moon Knight, probably.
You.
Oh
yeah,
wait,
I'm
that
50-50.
That was a dig.
I'm 50-50.
I got
I'm 50-50.
Okay.
All right. Fair
it's
enough.
like I'm gonna make you guys read Sonic number 44 next week. Although Sonic comics underrated.
I would
the Hedgehog
around
show.
At the speed of sound.
Listen to our main show, The Comics Pals. It drops every single Monday. If you like this, Tyler's not there, unfortunately, but Pete and I are, and we're fun. And there are a whole other host of Comics Pals that aren't here today and are never here because they don't like to work. But you should listen. It's a great time. Thank you so much for listening to this show. We're the Comics Pals signing off. Take care, guys.
See you next
Au revoir. Why did I say French to my outro when I said German? What the fuck is going on?